Hello, my name is Jana. I make weekly videos as a challenge, and I'm normally recently trying to stick to patchwork and quilting and other crafty things, but today is a little bit different because I'm in Moscow and I've decided not to take any handwork with me because there's stuff that needs to be done. We are going to be moving out of this flat because nobody lives here, and we thought that maybe we could give it a lick of paint and rent it. And so I have to go through some of my possessions, and I found some interesting things that I thought I might show you. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about my plans for December because I think I'm going to try daily-ish videos for December just to finish the year with a bang, so to speak. About 10 years ago, I think I went through a minimalism stage where I've decluttered a lot of things and I figured out what I need, what I want to keep, who I am as a person in a lot of ways. And I think that the process of decluttering is a lot about self-discovery because you figure out kind of what's important and what's not. And I kept a lot of stuff. And now I have a bit of a problem because I think that it would be nice if I could, trash something, but nearly all the things that I have are important for me in some way. So, yeah, it's kind of a struggle. And a couple of months ago, I came across a video. I'm going to definitely link it in the description. And it's about letting your past selves die. And I think that minimalism is a lot about that, like figuring out that maybe I can let things go, but I'm still keeping some of the things. Like here's a set of playing cards for Mafia. It has different names in different countries, and I made the case myself. And it's a set of playing cards that I made. It's watercolor paper and fine liners, and I made it in 2010 when I was living in Prague, and it was kind of a custom order. I did it very old school, and it's amazing what you can do when you don't have an iPad. It was such a different time, I guess. Well, Mafia is basically a game where you have to kind of guess who the bad guys are. Like the city falls asleep and then somebody gets killed, and then you need to figure out who the killer is. And some people are just civilians and some people are detectives, that kind of stuff. And yeah, here's one of the detectives. See, I made even like, you see, the civilians have these utensils and the detectives have guns. Or is it a mafia? That's a mafia. That's a mafia. That's a mafia. Here's a detective. He has, the weights, the scales. What's it called? Yeah. I have my kind of a project that I made for design school. I made a series of unfortunate events covers, and I even kind of printed out 2 of the books. Yeah, so that's a little bit of my past. And I found a couple train tickets from Hamburg from 2014. My friends and I went to Hamburg from Prague to a Justin Timberlake concert, which I'm not ashamed to admit. It was a great show. But one of the things that I found is this pocket notebook that I used to keep right about that time. It was like, I think 2009, 2010, because I remember making some notes when I was in Prague, and that was 2010. I didn't date. 2011. A drawing. Nice little rat. The point is, I used to keep a pocket notebook right before I got my first iPhone, and I kind of lost this habit gradually once I had my iPhone and my iPad and all of my computers. But yeah, it's interesting, and I'm right now at the point when I'm trying to get this habit back. But for some reason, 2008, I have terrible memory, but it kind of, they are not notes on my kind of day-to-day life, but they're just something about things I've read and watched. Seems like I really liked Depeche Mode back then. And Tara Pratchett. Yeah, so that's an interesting find. Another thing that I completely forgot about is this liner cut print. It's a little bear on a ball, and I forgot that I have it. And that's my next point. I used to take photography really seriously, so I have a lot of photographs printed, and one of our teachers in photo school, because I went to all kinds of schools, being a jack of all trades, and they told us that a photograph is only a photograph when it's printed. When it's digital, it is just a possibility of a photograph. When it's like a film negative, it's a possibility of a photograph. It's not a photograph, because until it's developed and printed on paper, you don't have a print, you don't have a photograph. So I, as I was going through stuff about 10 years ago and kind of on this minimalist journey, I've discovered that I want to have my prints displayed. So I have a lot of photographs everywhere. Not as many as I would probably want, because I don't want to go too far, but I always have photographs displayed around the house, and I think that's very important. And I like to have some of my works also displayed, because I tend to just forget that I had those, and it's a really cool print. And another thing that I found is a stack of Inktober that didn't happen, because I started it and then it kind of fell off, as you do. And here's a leprechaun chasing a pig for some reason. Here's a gargoyle. Nesting dolls. Where's a close-up of a box of matches. A girl tripping over a cat. This is when I started to give up. A bat with a bat. And this is a sketch that I did for somebody. It's what's it called? Well, it's a fox, but it's a white fox. What are they called? Here's the thing that I really wanted to show you. It's a set of 3 pillows that I made a long time ago, maybe about 10 years ago, out of a quilt top that I made even before that I didn't know what to do with, because I watched I think it was a Missouri Star tutorial on making this pattern, and I loved it. I got myself a jelly roll, I got myself some fabric. It was my first attempt at grown-up patchwork. But after I made the top, I didn't know how to proceed from there, because as I keep mentioning, we don't have a lot of information, and certainly 10-15 years ago we didn't have a lot of information available. So I just kind of put it in a closet and hoped for the best. But then we got a little dog, a dachshund, and he really loved resting on a windowsill. So I took that quilt top out of the storage, and I made 3 pillows that fit exactly on the windowsill, and they still allowed the window to open. And so it's like I made the covers for those pillows. I made pillows out of an old bed sheet, and I made the covers. I took a bit of felt and I quilted the thing to the felt, and I made a pillow cover. But because I didn't know what I was doing, I will show you the stitching that I used, because I have never seen a hand quilted thing in real life before, and YouTube wasn't as abundant as it is right now. So I just want to show what it looks like, and it works. It does work. So it's not a very dense stitching, but it totally held up. Right now we don't have this dog for a couple of years now, because we lost him to lymphoma, and the cats don't live here anymore, and I don't have the same kind of windowsill in our summer house in the forest. So I think that maybe I could take it apart once again, and maybe make something like a dog bed of a more simple shape, maybe. Yeah, that's a future project for the next year, because I have enough projects to get me going through, I think, January, I think. Well, that's all for my sharing of the things I found. That's all the interesting things, I think, for now. Maybe I'll share something later in the month. And on that topic, we're going to the second part of the video where I tell you my plans for December. So, I've decided that December for me is going to be a month where I try to get my act together as much as possible and get some things done. I want to finish some tasks that have been hanging around for a while. I want to concentrate on things that I think are important. I need to figure out what those things are, because right now I'm excited about making all kinds of small fun things. Like I'm spending a lot of time on Pinterest looking for projects that I could do, like something I could make and put my own spin on it and make it interesting for YouTube, but I don't have this luxury, actually. December is a very busy month for graphic designers, at least here in Moscow, in Russia. And I'm a freelance graphic designer, so there's going to be a lot of that. Um, I need to continue working on the move and making sure that I'm getting rid of as much stuff as I can without compromising and without regrets, because a lot of things that I have are important to me and I want to keep them, but I don't necessarily have a place for them in the forest. So I have to work on getting my own house, because in my own house I will be able to display all the silly things that I have. And that's a project for another year. I have to I have to get some. I have to just tie off the loose ends. I want to make sure that I do that, and in order to do that, it's a good motivation if I do daily videos. And I wanted to do this just to see if I can. I'm not committing to 31 days straight, but I'm going to try my best to do to never lose, like to never miss 2 days in a row. I can miss one, I cannot miss two, like Matt Diavilla rule. Um, and this way, I'm going to work on my vlogging skills, because I imagine that a lot of that is going to be just me walking around. And yeah, I'm going to be forced to not overthink things and condense my efforts and all other benefits that I don't know. It's just a suggestion right now. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's really useful to choose the busiest month of the year and make it even more busy for yourself. And see what happens. Maybe you can pull it off, maybe you cannot, and that's also useful to know. So it's going to be a lot of just my day to day, probably a lot of shots of me sitting behind in front of a computer and staring into a screen. A lot of dogs, I suppose. But I'm going to try and work on some things that I need to get finished. Like, I want to make this uh, instructional PDF of how to make a mug rug, and I have been thinking about it for 3 4 weeks now. I haven't started, even though it's probably like maybe a day of work, maybe 2 days. I could have done it by now. I haven't, because I get distracted all the time. So December is getting it done month for me, and I'm going to document the whole thing. And tomorrow we're going to start by making a list of things that I think are important and sorting it into categories. Can I do it this month? Does it have to wait for the New Year's? And we'll move from there. So I'll see you tomorrow with a video that's probably going to be very short, but I still hope that it's going to be entertaining. And yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure if it's going to be fun, but I hope to see you there.